Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. The case I'm going to be looking into today was known as a Jane Doe for quite a while. This lady, well, teenager I guess, she was 17 at the time of her vanishing. And they found remains basically, and they just never knew who she was for such a long time. That was until very recently when her identity has been discovered. So initially, let me take you to the 27th of September in 2001. Fairfax County Police gets this phone call of somebody discovering some bones. It was near an area called Lincoln Circle in a place called McLean. And construction workers that were working on the site found these bones and this clothing. It was near a drainage ditch. I will be able to speak eventually. So yeah, it was near this drainage ditch. I got it right that time. They also found this really distinctive ring. It looks like an aquamarine coloured stone with a gold coloured. They also found a gold coloured bangle bracelet. And they found this woman had been sadly shot in the head. She had no idea on her body, and therefore was a Jane Doe. And she remained so for 50 years. This was until her sister, unbeknown to her sister, put in her DNA into the ancestry system, right? And then she gets this call from police eventually saying that they think that she may have some ancestral tie to a body they found in 2001, the skeletal remains of a young woman. So straight away, she thinks back to her sister. Patricia Agnes Gildawie was known as Chubby to a lot of people. She was last seen in Fairfax on the 8th of February in 1975, She was 17 years old at the time. Now, it was known by her family that she was dating an older man at the time, and she was also driving around in his car. It was a white Cadillac Eldorado. She was seen in it a lot. It had this red interior, so it's quite distinctive. Or it might not have been. I don't know whether there was loads of them around at that time. There might have been. I might just be chatting rubbish on that one. And that was the last time that her half-sister saw her. And she did even mention on that day that she noticed bruises on her arms. On like the upper arm, her shoulder, and the back of her legs. Which is quite a lot of bruising. And she said to her, like, what on earth happened? And Hubie, as she was known by everyone, said to her, oh, you know how I fall over all the time? And her sister was like, no, you don't. So obviously that is kind of an inclination to domestic abuse, sadly. Like maybe her partner of the time was obviously abusing her, beating her up. So now that we know who she is, let me go into a little bit of her background. She was born in France in February of 1958 and came to the US when she was just 8 months old. And then in the early 70s is when she moved to Fairfax. And of course, she met her boyfriend, who was an older man at the time, and then she just vanished. So police really want to talk to this boyfriend, but they don't know who he was. They don't really know very much about him. They do know that he was in his 30s at the time, and that he worked in an upholstery store near Church Street, which has since been closed. It was in the town of Vienna, Virginia. And of course, advancements in technology are amazing. I keep saying this, keep seeing all these cold cases solved, or these Jane Does and John Does who finally get their name back. This is the case with Patricia. She finally got her name back. We know who she is. Her family know what happened to her, sadly, after all of this time, like almost 50 years. And so now we're looking for her killer. Her boyfriend is the main suspect in it. They believe that he is still out there, that he was in his 30s at the time, he's potentially still alive, and they want to find out who he is because they believe that he was the one that murdered her. And of course it all tracks. If she's got these bruises that don't match up with anything, but you're thinking domestic violence, and then she ends up shot in the head, you're thinking partner. So they really want to find this man. I really hope one day they do, for everyone's sake, for her family's sake, because they finally find out what happened to her, but now they know that she was murdered and they don't know who by. So it's just like replacing one mystery with another. a worse one, I guess, because they didn't really know what happened to her. She could have been out there, she could have lived a life and had a family, kids, been happy. Okay, she had no contact with them, so, you know, they wouldn't have known that. But you always have that hope, and now that hope is gone. So now all they can hope for is that this person who did this to her is finally caught. The police are really running forward with this investigation and pushing through with it all. They want any fresh information or anything like that. They really are pushing this case because, like I said, they just want him found now. And they also said that they hope that the community takes comfort in the fact that these cold cases that could be like 50 years old are still being looked into and still being solved with the advances of technology, which is fantastic. But yeah, I truly hope that we find whoever did this to Patricia. She's finally got her name back. She can finally be, you know, I don't know whether they would have kept her bones or whether they would have put her in an unmarked grave. But now they could give her a proper tombstone or a proper burial if they still have her bones or whatever is the case. And her family finally know what happened to her. We just need justice for her now. So yeah, that is the end of this case. If you guys have enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for similar content. Anyway, that's all I have today on the case of Patricia Gildawie. And I apologise if I said that name wrong, because I probably have. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!